When life puts us in difficult times, we are naturally heartbroken. The world seems unfair to us. We can't find the strength and faith to keep going with grace and confidence. It's difficult to cope with such traumas and tragedies alone. However, a feeling of support makes it easier to deal with such hard times. Fuzia brings to you an inspiring journey of a cancer warrior, a breast cancer survivor who is determined to help others with similar cases deal with problems like mental health, any type of cancer, and much more. Here is her story, where she has fought breast cancer bravely with faith and patience.
My name is Dr. Christina Hibbert, otherwise known as Christina or Christy. I am a clinical psychologist. I have a private practice here in Flagstaff, Arizona. I am also a best-selling author. My very first book, This Is How We Grow, was on the bestseller charts for over a year and actually won an award, an Independent Publishers Book Award. I'm also a speaker and a trainer and a teacher. I do a lot of work online through my website, drchristinahibbert.com, where I have courses and blog posts and articles and all kinds of resources, videos to help women and mothers in particular overcome, become, and flourish. And I draw heavily from my own personal background. I'm also a mother of 6, yes, 6 kids, ages 11 to 23. I have really been focused lately, though, on my latest challenge, which is being a breast cancer warrior. I like that term warrior because it's not that I'm just surviving breast cancer, although that's what I'm doing, but I'm really trying to show others how to go through this experience with grace and with faith and to overcome and become and flourish through this great challenge of cancer as well. I was diagnosed on July 17th, 2019, just a few months ago, after I went in for a follow-up mammogram to a biopsy that I had had 6 months prior. Really, it was more like 8 months prior. And miracle number 1, I was supposed to go in a few months earlier, but if I had gone in earlier, there's no way they would have found the tumor. The doctor, when he came in, I could tell something was different. He said he was concerned and he mentioned there being a star-shaped pattern, which I didn't even think about until 2 days later. The day after my mammogram, I had the biopsy, which thank goodness they got me in early and soon. And then the day after that, before I got the call that I was being diagnosed with breast cancer, I remembered that star-shaped pattern and I went and I looked it up online, and it said that that's one of the ways that they can tell a malignant tumor. And I'd had this sense that this was going to happen. I'd had this kind of spiritual understanding with God that, yes, I'm sorry this is going to happen, but I am with you and I will lead you through. And then I was diagnosed, and it still felt like it was just me being slammed down and so shocked and so overwhelmed. I have a strong family history of breast cancer, so I had been getting mammograms since I was 27. My mother was first diagnosed when she was 37, and usually it's recommended that if you have a family history, you start your mammograms 10 years earlier, and I'd been doing that faithfully, and luckily I had, because the mammogram and following up when I did, right when I did, saved my life. If I would have waited a year, if I would have gone in earlier, we wouldn't have caught it, and I would have waited a year, and then it would have been so big and maybe spread. I was very grateful that the tumor was so small, and when they did the surgery to remove the tumor, it was found that there was no spreading. They took some lymph nodes and nothing had spread, and what a blessing. It seems like every day there's a new symptom, there's a new challenge, there's a new something I have to learn about, there's a new emotional reaction that I'm facing and having to deal with, and it's very difficult. And that's one of the things that I think women who go through this or go through any type of cancer need to know, that you're not alone if you feel a little crazy at times. And it's very difficult to not be able to control these things in our lives. But there are some things that we can control, and one of them is how we respond to it, what our attitude is. One of them is how we deal with the emotional challenges or the physical challenges that come up. One thing I highly recommend as a psychologist and as someone going through this is to admit how you're feeling and to be honest and to share your story with those people you feel comfortable with sharing so that they can support you and they know to be there for you. And I wasn't sure if I wanted people to know or if I needed this to be private or if I wanted to share with them. And I made a very conscious choice at that time that I was going to share this experience and openly share every moment of it. And that's what's kept me motivated through this all have really been my faith in my family. And I fight every day and I'm working to be better through this process, to not just go through it, but to grow through it for them and for my God and the Almighty. I'm so grateful that I've reached out and shared my story on social media. That's what led me to Fuzia and to be able to share this message with you. People and friends and support systems that we set up and communities like Fuzia that really empower those of us going through these kinds of trials like breast cancer to become more open and to share our stories and to receive more help and support and to empower and enable us on our journeys, each one of us individually. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to talk about breast cancer through the Fuzia community and to be able to spread this awareness of how important it is for us to get our mammograms and our genetic testing and to take breast cancer and cancer seriously, that it can happen when we're young and when we're older and when we're mothering and when we're working and when we least expect it, even when we think we're being very healthy. Sometimes our genetics kick in and breast cancer and other cancers can really kick us and make us feel like we're down. But I'm so grateful to Pragya and the Fuzia community for inviting me to be part of this so that we can help others and educate them in this process. In conclusion, I just really hope that women out there hear the main messages. Number one, to make sure that you know about mammograms and ultrasounds and MRIs and testing, and make sure that you're following up on those. And if you feel a lump, and self-exams, if you feel a lump, if you feel like something's not right, that we can demand that kind of service, that kind of help from our healthcare communities and get that testing done that we need. Number two, to be aware of your genetic history and to know if you have a family history that you can, and really I encourage you to get that genetic testing done. It's so much better to know if you have those gene mutations so that you can do something about it. And number three is just whatever you are going through, whether it's breast cancer, another type of cancer, whether it's a mental health challenge, depression, anxiety, death, grief, loss, stress, life problems, challenges, divorce, whatever it might be, to let yourself go there and feel what you need to feel as it comes up and acknowledge your response and acknowledge your emotions and try to not shove them aside, but really to share them. You don't have to share them in a video like I have, but to tell close, trusted people so that they can help you, so that you have the support that you need, and reach out to communities like Fuzia so that you can receive the support that you are really entitled to and that you honestly deserve.
Christina, with her inspiring journey, has motivated women across the world and will continue doing it for her entire life. Fighting breast cancer wasn't easy for her. Fuzia stands with Christina and every other woman in her journey against breast cancer. Fuzia is with you.